8 News starts now with breaking news.
That breaking news tonight, Amari Pollard, the shooter at the Richmond graduation, is sentenced to 43 years with 18 years suspended. You're watching 8 News at 6. I'm Deanna Albritton.
I'm Eric Phillips. 8 News reporter Autumn Childers has been at the courthouse all week long bringing us details, including this breaking update. And Autumn, a big twist in today's events.
Eric, Deanna, I can tell you from being in the courtroom all week long, this was certainly a twist we were not expecting. After 4 days of this jury trial, Amari Pollard pleaded guilty to first-degree murder. A judge tonight sentencing him to 43 years in prison with 18 of those suspended, meaning he will now spend 25 years in prison. Now, again, this plea deal coming as a shock to nearly everyone in the courtroom. It came after Amari Pollard took the stand, testifying that he shot Shawn Jackson because he feared for his life. He says he'd previously been threatened by Shawn and his friends. He claimed he was running away from the crowd when he heard someone say, "Shoot him," and that is why he fired his gun. But prosecutors all week saying that story simply not true. They really focused on the fact that Shawn Jackson was shot 6 times, 2 of them in his back. They also pointed to surveillance videos outside the Altria Theater that they say showed a different story. After hearing Pollard's testimony, a judge ruled there was not enough evidence for a self-defense claim, both sides then coming to this plea deal. Now, we did speak to Commonwealth's attorney Colette McEachinn tonight. Of course, her office breathing a sigh of relief. She says this is a situation the city of Richmond will never forget. Take a listen.
This was a murder that happened at a public high school graduation in the middle of the summer, in the middle of the afternoon, with hundreds of people around. And the fact that the defendant had so little regard for completely innocent bystanders and children and women and people who are celebrating their loved ones' graduations, that he had so little regard for that he brought a weapon and used it in the midst of that crowd is really what I want people to take away from this.
Now, this was an extremely complex and challenging case. In fact, the judge himself said the same thing. But again, after 8 months, Amari Pollard will spend 25 years in prison.
Well, Autumn, you've been telling us all week long that the courtroom has been very emotional. How do people respond to this latest development?
Well, yeah, Eric, really both families here emotional. Amari Pollard's family crying as the judge read off that sentencing. And we also saw Amari Pollard mouth, "I love you" to his family as he was being taken back into custody. But I want to talk tonight about Shawn Jackson's mother, Tamika Jackson Smith. Of course, she's dealing with the most here. She lost her son and her husband that day. As she was leaving the courtroom tonight, she was crying, but she was also clapping. So seemingly a moment of justice for her family. Eric.
A lot going on in that courtroom. Autumn, thanks so much for the updates.
And now 8 News reporter Sierra Krug joins us live with how different spheres of our community are reacting. Sarah, you have also been out there all week. What are you now hearing?
Well, Deanna, that's right. It has been a long 4 days, tears flowing across the courtroom each day, emotions running high from beginning to end. There's no denying that for the past 8 months, this case has had a lasting impact on our community and even beyond. So now Pollard's guilty plea officially brings this case to a close, so some community members are speaking out. Even jurors outside the courthouse commented on how abruptly the trial ended. They went from being faced with a major decision to being relieved of that burden. Inside the courtroom, we saw Amari Pollard's loved ones hugging one another and sobbing while watching the 20-year-old be taken back into custody. Meanwhile, on the other side of the courtroom, looks of relief from those close to the Jackson Smith family. Richmond School Board member Jonathan Young has been vocal, speaking out against gun violence plaguing the city's young people. Today, he shared a statement saying, quote, "An excruciating 8 months for everyone at Huguenot finally has some resolution, even if still too many answers unresolved." He added that he prays for better days for Huguenot and says that everyone there deserves it. And over at City Hall, calling the guilty plea a step towards healing. Richmond's mayor also chiming in, declaring that in his opinion, justice has been served. He thanked the Richmond Police Department as well as Commonwealth's attorney Colette McEachinn. She addressed the community outside of the courthouse shortly after the courtroom closed.
got to know the family and the suffering that they had been going through for the past 8 months. And so we are happy and relieved for them, for this outcome. We spoke with Tamika Jackson Smith, the mom and widow of Renzo, and she agreed with this outcome.
Again, just a reminder, Pollard is looking at 25 years behind bars, and the judge himself called the case factually both tragic and complicated. Jackson's family walked out of the courthouse all together, some holding hands, showing their united front on such a turbulent day. For Now 11 Richmond, Sierra Krug, 8 News.